Behind You is a horror film from 2020. This is written and directed by Andrew Mecham and Matthew Whedon, and we have a cast including Addy Miller, Elizabeth Birkner, Philip Brodie, and Jan Broberg. And in general, it's a good story. The scary bits are very, very good. Claire is amazing. The performance there is brilliant, and I'll talk more about her in a moment. But it is very, very, very slow. It's not tremendously long. It's just under an hour and a half. And I'd say there are maybe half an hour of good bits. There are so many scenes that just go on and on and on with nothing happening. So the pacing is terrible, but the good bits are brilliant. So I'd say it's worth it, but it's worth bearing in mind that it's a very slow journey. It's about two sisters who are in a very difficult situation. They have to go and live with their aunt, and all of the mirrors in the aunt's house is covered in wallpaper. In fact, the whole house seems to be covered in wallpaper. It looks brilliant. Visually, it's a really nice home. Well, I don't know if I'd want to live there, but within the context of the film, I think it looks great to look at. And the young girls are obviously exploring the house, and one of them decides to peel back a little bit of the wallpaper, which I have to say, you shouldn't do that. Even though it's now their home as well, you shouldn't start ripping the wallpaper off of somebody's walls. But nevertheless, they peel this back. And that scene where the wallpaper is peeled back and the mirror begins to be revealed, and we had these quick cuts to the rest of the room, and then back to the mirror, then the rest of the room, and it was genuinely quite suspenseful. That's kind of, for me, the turning point. That's when things started to get interesting. It was still slow, but that moment certainly was very interesting, and it seems like there's a demon within the house, and it's out to get them, and I'll say no more than that. It's actually a very well-written story. There's a lot of background to it. It's not something that just happens suddenly, obviously, because the aunts covered the house up already, so it's not something that's brand new, which is interesting, because with a lot of films like this, not all of them, but often we have, say, a family moving into a house for the first time, and they begin to discover the presence of the demon, but their aunt was obviously already aware of something being not quite right because she covered the mirrors up, and the question is, why did she do that? And obviously we begin to learn. So it's an interesting concept that not everybody is discovering this presence for the first time. Claire, the younger girl, is amazing, both in terms of the character and the performance. She's played by Elizabeth Birkner, and she's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. She's my favourite character, and I just thought the performance was great. Very chilling a lot of the time, a really interesting character. And in general, as I said, the good bits are very, very good. The horror aspect is very strong. Not the strongest, it's not terrifying, but certainly there's a lot there. The horror is quality, but the storytelling is very slow. Certainly for the first 2/3 of the film, it does pick up, it does eventually go somewhere, but for the bulk of the film, it is very, very slow. And as I said, we only have maybe half an hour, maybe 40 minutes of actually quality storytelling. But the overarching narrative is very good. So it needs a bit of work to be a great film, but I'm still happy to recommend it, as long as you bear in mind that it's not the best in terms of the pacing. It's not the most engaging experience, and it takes a very long time for anything to happen. But the good bits are so good that I'd say it's worth it. So all of that's probably worth bearing in mind, but if it sounds like something that might appeal to you, if you think it's a film that will work well for you, if you like films about houses that have a demonic presence, let's face it, there are many of them, and there's a good reason for that, because in general, they work very well. And that aspect of it, I'd say, does work very well. It's a very well-written story with regards to the key plot points and the overarching narrative. It's simply the pacing. Everything is dragged out so much. But the good bits are very, very good. So with that in mind, I'm quite happy to recommend Behind You.